Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening for whatever part of the world you're watching us from. You're welcome to today's session on our webinar, our monthly digital education webinar. So good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. So my name once again is Queensley Ademola, and I'm so excited that we started the year, and we're grateful to God for giving us the privilege to learn for the whole of last year, and also make us giving us the privilege of health and life to be here to also learn together as digital educators. So with me here today, I have so many amazing facilitators in the building, and we'll be diving right into the session. But before we do that, I would like to specially greet every educator out there. Now, happy International Day of Education. Happy International Day of Education. This is a special shout out to every educator at whatever stakeholder, whatever level okay that you are in the education sector and the education industry. So happy International Day of Education. And we know our theme for this year is learning for lasting peace. So, but before we move right into all of that and we learn together, I would like to bring my guest on board so we go into it like bring it as it is, so art. And here with me in the building, I have two amazing guests with me. Mr. Odufeso Tajudeen. Hello, Mr. Odufeso. Hello, sir. Okay, please unmute your mic. Hello, sir. Can you hear
Okay,
us?
thank you. Good afternoon.
Afternoon,
Good
sir.
afternoon. Happy International Day.
Thank you. Yeah, happy International Day of Education. Happy International Education Day to you also. Yes, because we see all the amazing works you do. We see everything you do. And yes, to my viewers, I know you'll be wondering who Mr. Tajudeen Odufeso is. Yes, he's a big fish, he's a big catch in the education industry. He's a teacher. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say that. Congratulations for being the best teacher for the year 2022 in Ogun State. It's a really big one amongst the myriads of teachers that we have out there, and you doing all of that. So we say big congratulations to you, and we hope that you keep on stepping up on your milestones and you keep on achieving more great feats. So, without wasting much of our time, let's meet our speaker. And so, Dufes Otajudin is a passionate educator and a football coach who blends academic learning with sports development as the managing director of Expert Institute Computer Training Center. He leads digital education in Ipararemo, Ogun State. Additionally, as a lecturer at Tai Solarin College of Education, Iperu Center. Mr. Odufeso contributes to the growth of aspiring educators in Ogun State with continuous learning and community engagement. He is dedicated to uplifting education and community development. Please make welcome Mr. Tajuddin Odufeso. We are so happy to have you. We are so super happy to have you in the building. Yes, sir. So we have a lot to discuss, but before that, we would like to also bring in our next guest. So a special apology to everybody out there. Mr. Ayodele Odeobola had an emergency to attend to, and also we also have another big fish in the building, Mr. Akindeni Isiaka. Hello, Isiaka.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Quincy.
Good afternoon, sir. Good
Yeah.
afternoon. So, Mr. Akindeni Isiak, let me. Mr. Akindeni Isiak is a big fish in the education space and also in the tech space. He is the product development manager of EduTerms. He's an educator. He's a lot of things. Let me just be honest with you. He's a project manager. He's an educator. He has taught in the public schools and he knows his onions. So that is why Mr. Akindeni is here. So hello, Mr. Akindeni, and I hope you are here with all of our goodies for us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Quincy. Good afternoon. And also good afternoon to everyone from whichever part of the world that you're watching us from for today's session. I don't know why I'm super excited, probably because it's the first session of the year. So
Yeah.
I'm like looking forward to more conversations coming in. And for everybody also joining, I'm sure this will be a very exciting session for us all. And also for the fact that it is the World International Education Day. So I'm super
Yes.
excited one way or the other. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So before we move into our topic, we cannot overlook International Day of Education. So we'd like to discuss that a bit. So, Mr. Tajuddin, sir, if I'm to ask you, sir, what can you say? Like, let's say, for some people, this might be the first time they are hearing about the International Day of Education. So, if I can ask you, sir, what can you say is the significance of the International Day of Education in our current world? What is the significance of the International Day of Education, sir?
Yes, thank you for having me. I
Yes, sir.
Before I proceed, let me appreciate the work you people guys are doing. I mean, the Edutans family, what you are doing to
Yeah.
education in Nigeria, not only in Ogun State, because personally I have learned a lot from Edutans. Whatever achievement that I've made so far in Ogun State today, even in Nigeria, uh, Edutans contributes a lot, and that is what we are enjoying, particularly in Ogun State.
Mm.
I really appreciate you all for what you are doing.
Mm.
I also appreciate the founder, Dr. Ademola Ademobi. Now, let me go to what you asked me about International Day Education. So, the 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 celebration, it's the day is called for celebration. It's not only in Nigeria that we celebrate International Day of Education. It is everywhere. It is a global celebrations, and it is very important to celebrate the day, because without education, we cannot go anywhere. A nation without education will not achieve, anything. So whatever we are in any country, if they don't have education, they cannot achieve, they can't move forward, they can't do anything. So it is very important, very, very important to celebrate the International Day of Education. And that is what you guys are doing, editors are doing, wishing everyone, globally, the International Day of Education.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Odefesto. So I would like to go to Isiak. So Isiak, the theme for International Day of Education for the year 2024 is learning for lasting peace. So for someone like me, I can relate on another level, but I would like to ask you, how do you think, on a general, that learning for like education, or let me say now, since we were in digital education, how do you think education in general and digital education can help foster peace in the world or in the country? Let's talk about in the country Nigeria. How do you think it can help foster peace? Because the theme is learning for lasting peace. That means while learning is going on, there is a motive at the end of the day, which is peace. And the peace doesn't have to be short, because it's a lasting peace. Something that is lasting has to be for a very long period of time. So how
Yeah.
do you think digital education and education in general can help foster learning, or can help foster peace in the country?
Yeah, thank you very much, Quincy, for that question. So again, this is also to say a very big thank you to all educators out there. Whether I teach in the primary school, secondary school, or the tertiary system, or the fact that you're impacting knowledge one way or the other. I think a day like this is when educators all over the world should at least celebrate themselves, because
Yeah.
it is from all of our activities, all of the impact that we are making, consciously or unconsciously, that is helping to contribute to world peace. Like you said, essence of education for anybody is like, I learn a knowledge, I learn a skill, and I'm able to use that knowledge or that skill to be better with myself personally. So I think for me, I don't know one way or the other, the this year team sort of like relates well. I find it very resonating for me, because for there to be any peace anywhere, people have to learn. When people learn, especially those of us that were at school, secondary school teachers or primary school teachers, these kids that we are teaching, when we teach them, and they're able to use all of these impacts that we are giving them, they're able to use it for themselves personally. Of course, it has a very long impact in terms of ensuring that there's peace, generally in the whole world. And I feel that's also some of the importance of education. Why every child, no child should be denied of education, and that's also some of the huge impact I think educators all over the world are helping to make to the world, because it is from our activities that we are helping to contribute to, to the world peace, ensuring that the kids in our class, ensuring that the children we teach, ensuring that they have that knowledge that we are impacting in them. So in that way, they are also going out to contribute to the whole world generally. Yeah. So a big ups to all teachers out there. You're doing your job diligently. It's a big thumbs up for everybody. And I think a day like this, again, like I said, should always be a day that all of us will celebrate and sort of like look at the impact that we are making in the world. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Isiak. I'm still coming back to you, but before I come back to you, so I want to say, as our viewers that you're watching us, yes, we see you. Hello, Balikis Temidayo. Thank you for joining in the show. Kayode Kao, Mr. Adewale Kayode online class. Well, welcome to today's session. So we want you to keep on engaging with us. Drop insight. If you have a question, drop it. If you have ideas, you have information to drop to us, you want to share with us. We want to learn from you as much as you're learning from us. Please kindly engage with us in the comment section. We would love to listen to you. All right. Isiaki, we're mentioning while I was still talking about the learning for lasting peace. Yes. So I was reading something online and I saw that the target for this year's International Day of Education that the UNESCO is trying to talk to, like the dedication for this year's Day of Education, is the role education and teachers play in countering hate speech. Now, the role education and teachers play in countering hate speech. And when we talk about hate speech, I feel the place that is like the go-to that you easily get hate speech is usually on social media. It's usually on social media where you get hate speech, this and this. Most people feel you can't get to me. I can, from the confines of my room, I can write anything. And now we're trying to say, okay, what role do digital education play in countering hate speech around the world? Since usually now we use digital education, what role do you think it can take, and how can we tackle the rise of hate speech using digital education? In just a few minutes, then we move into our topic. Hot thoughts.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Quincy. Like I said again, educators, teachers generally, we all have a great role to play, whether I teach in the
Yeah.
public school, whether I teach in the private school, because this is the first point of contact that we have with the kids. I don't know, for me, I so much believe in children because I know it is whatever we impact in them when they are growing up, it is that same value, they're able to push out when they are older, and that's what the world that we have right now. And that's where educators, are also very, very important. So aside from me, for example, I'm a mathematics teacher, for example, aside from me teaching my mathematics, ensuring that my kids in my classroom understand the concept I'm teaching them, it's also important that I'm also helping them to understand the sound culture, like what the UNESCO is preaching, to ensure that no hate speech is going on. So it's just like saying that as a teacher, we're not just responsible for just teaching the children what we want to teach them. We are responsible to modeling them, to shaping them to
Yeah.
what we want in our future, what we want our future to look like. So when we are teaching, at the same time, we are teaching them that those values into what we are teaching. That's when the kids will have that full knowledge. So that they're not just having the knowledge of how to 1 + 1 or 2 + 2. They are also having the full knowledge. And I don't know, from my experience, a lot of time children watch, they learn a lot by learning, by observing. When they see what me as a teacher, how I respond to situations, the way I also talk to them, the way I respond to things around me, they learn a lot from there. And one way or the other, that also influence the way they also be, or the way they also react to things outside. So I don't know. For me, each time I have the opportunity to relate with my co-educators out there, or some people that I know that are in the education space, one key thing that always stand out for me is that I'm not just teaching. I'm like a role model to the kids in my class. So I'm not just focusing on what I'm teaching them. I'm also focusing, trying to ensure that I'm passing the right value, the right core values that the kids or my student can learn from, from me as a person or as a role model. So it's important that every teachers or all educators need to also understand this part. And then also we carry out all of those activities as we are doing our day-to-day activities too, as it is.
All right, thank you very much. So, before we move further, I would also like to just drop some few points on how we can counter or tackle hate speech. So, I think as a digital educator, most of the time we forget, we do not usually we do not raise more awareness. We do not raise more awareness. So I feel we should begin to raise more awareness about the consequences of all of that, and we should begin to promote more of media literacy. We should be able to learn, relearn, and unlearn. I think using social media, I've learned that part, that we need to learn, relearn, and unlearn, and we need to cultivate a responsible online community. So I feel we cannot overemphasize all of that, all of that. So Mr. Tajuddin, sir. So I would also like to ask that, since we are tilting, we're talking about school on international education and being in the edtech space, trying to do. I see how you do. How you use sport to foster positive learning outcomes. I was watching some of your videos and I saw how you begin to integrate technology into all of that. So, I you, sir, what recent technological advancements have significantly impacted the education space right now that can foster positive learning? Now, we are not just saying learning outcomes, because you can learn and you can learn negatively, and you can learn and learn positively. And usually in the education, we talk about learning has not been achieved except there is a change in behavior. So when we say change in behavior, the change in behavior now depends on, is it positive or is it negative? So what I'm trying to say is, what recent technological advancements do you think has positively impacted the education space that can foster positive learning outcomes that you think we need to start looking into, like the latest trend in the tech space, in the tech, that we need to start looking into as an educators, Mr. Tajuddin, sir?
Thank you, Queen. Thank you for this question. Before I proceed, you see, things has changed. Learning, the way we impact knowledge has changed. Um, Many educators do use what we call conventional teaching method to engage their learners, which I think it doesn't bring good results. Before that, let me tell you something. Um, are you aware that WAEC have started using computer for examination? Are you aware? Are you aware of
Mm.
that?
I saw
So
something similar online. Yeah.
um, there are two exams that WAEC do every year. They call it WAEC
Mm.
GC Series 1 and the
Yeah.
WAEC GC Series 2. Series 1 come out January, February, which they are about to start now. If you
Mm.
go to online, you understand that WAEC is set to make use of technology gadgets to um, to allow the student to write the exams on CBT, computer-based tests. So if at that level, if examination body is trying to make use of technology gadgets to administer their questions, to carry out their questions, to make their work easier and faster to students and to the examination body, I mean, WAEC I'm talking about now. So what happened to educators? How do you engage your students? As you are, asking me, the recent technological advancement that bring that has impact to digital education. We have a lot of technology gadget that we can use to instruct or to pass instruction to learners. Let me start from what is happening in Ogun State now. Ogun State has organize what we call New Jersey Center, or we call it PSI, PMI's method of teaching, how teacher can make use of a computer to pass instruction in the classroom, that is different from conventional teaching method. This method will allow students to collaborate, we allow students to interact to one another, we allow the students to think on their own based on the topic that teacher is discussing in the classroom. So we have a lot of technology gadget that we can use, that we can use to pass instruction to students in the classroom. And learning must be on four corners of the classroom. Of course, learning must continue after the classroom, and that is what this method is talking about. Then we can also make use of software to software-based content to pass instruction to students. Like if we have any school in Nigeria now that doesn't have website, the school is not doing well. It's not doing well. So students must have access to internet, must have access to the contents on their website so that learning can continue. We cannot just doing the same thing all the time, and getting the bad results, not getting the good results. So we must practice what is happening now. We must key in using technology to impact, to instruct the student, to teach the student, to have an assessment, to have to allow the student to do it on their own. The conventional teaching method we are talking about, it is teacher centered, not
Centered.
student centered. So if you use any of the technology gadgets, it is any technology gadget is based on student centered approach. The student will do it on their own, they will learn it on their own, they will do it on their own, and it is there for them because of assessment. So we cannot continue doing the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. So technology has, improve digital education globally,
Mm,
in Nigeria,
mm,
anywhere. So
mm,
there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. We have a lot of technology gadgets that we can use as methods to impart knowledge to the students. So let's say goodbye to traditional methods. Let's say goodbye to conventional method.
mm,
Teacher must not
mm,
talk throughout the 45 minutes or 40 minutes. No, no, we have to change the something so that we can get better
mm.
at the end of the day.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Tajuddin. Thank that's actually very insightful. Thank you very much. That means we cannot overlook technology currently. Well, Mr. Kindeng, there's something that's actually for someone like me as an educator and also as a student. So I remember there was a time I wanted to use this as a student now, and I was introduced to this technology. And along the line, because it was my phone, that was housing the software, and I tended to tilt into another thing apart from what I was supposed to actually do. If you understand what I mean, like I was distracted along the line. So how do you think teachers can ensure that and that how do you think teachers can ensure that technology actually enhances rather than distracts
Hmm.
from learning experience? If you got my question.
Yeah, sure. I
Now,
think I get your question.
yes. How do you
Um,
think teacher can actually use technology to enhance, not to
Hmm.
distract, so that the learning experience would actually get a better outcome that the aim, the behavioral objectives will be met.
okay. Yeah, so I think I get your question, and I like what Mr. Tajuddin was also saying. Teachers now, and I think it's high time all teachers also, all educators also need to understand that things have changed. We have moved from that era where the everything we do is just on conventional method. If you're a teacher and you're in the or an educator and you're in the 21st century, one way or the other, you need to start learning how to make use of this technology to teach. It is understandable that yes, because I don't know, from my experience, I interact with a lot of educators a lot, and for some of them, I know a lot of educators that they have this passion for impacting knowledge. They have this drive for impacting knowledge, but they don't just have that technological skills yet to make it happen. I've seen a lot of teachers where individually they do so much, impacting knowledge,
Yeah.
but because technology is missing, it's not even helping those impacts to even go much more further. If at what we do at that local level, at that various level, we are trying to infuse technology, it has a way of increasing that impact. It has a way of even making my work as an educator easier, such that I can now focus more on teaching and learning. And a lot of time I used to say I don't usually like to condemn, but because some of them will say, I'm getting older. Can I learn how to use this technology? Technology. You even have saying that technology is for
It's hard.
the Gen Zs. We that we are in the older generation. We can't understand how to use one of these technological skills and all of that. But for me, and that's where I feel all of these technological platform coming up should also put into consideration the various levels of teachers that are going to be using them, because another challenge when people have, especially educators have, when we want to use a particular technology, if it is too difficult for me to use, it doesn't make it easier, because first I'm having to deal with the fact that I want to teach in the classroom. I'm having to deal with the fact that I still want to do my day-to-day activities, and I'm now
Yeah.
dedicating my time to a particular solution, and it's now giving me headaches. I sort of like leave it and just say, "Oh, let me still be using this now I'm using." I find this one very, very difficult. And a lot of time, what I used to tell those kind of educators is that it is normal. You can't say because of that you won't innovate, or you won't move on with what the current trend that we are going
Yes.
on. You just have to still keep dedicating that time till you find solutions that will be very, very easier for you to adapt to, that will help make your work very easy. So there's this first perception that don't give up, no matter how hard it might look like from the beginning, trying to learn all of these skills. Don't give up. Take it one step at a time, and you will definitely get that knowledge as it goes. And so the other part, which is also very important, is like we are saying, is that no way out. it is important. And Mr. Tajudin also said, when he mentioned that particular method where technology is helping to make teaching and learning student centered instead of teacher centered. You know, those are
Sometimes.
all of the things, and I feel that it even makes teachers' work easier, self, because now it is the students that are doing the job. I'm engaging them. You know, it's freeing my time. That way, my students are even learning much more better. So it's one way or the other. So we need to look at the longer term. One thing I know in life is that change is, change is the only
Constant.
constant thing in life, and it doesn't come easier. So we need to also accept the fact that with our mindset open, that I want to learn how to improve what I do on daily basis, adopting or utilizing these technological skills, right? So and be
Yeah.
open that okay, I'm going to take my time to learn it and I'm going to use it very well to do whatever I'm doing, appropriately. So that's why I feel that educators needs to open. And very importantly as well, there are a whole lot of educational platform. There are a whole lot of technological tools, that are out there. Sometimes a lot of mistake that educators also make is that because I see everybody using something, I also want to use it. You have to do a critical assessment of myself, what I want for myself as a teacher, the kind of pupils or the kind of learners I'm teaching, what kind of technology will
Yeah.
suit them, what kind of method will
That
suit
won't
them
distract
more
them. Yeah.
exactly. So that is, and I think that's as we are making awareness about the fact that teachers need to adopt technology, there's also the need to also know that when you are adopting this technology, you need to understand which one is much more better, because technology is just like an enabler. It is still we the educators that will still make use of that tool to ensure that we are teaching appropriately. So as we are making the awareness that there is need for teachers to adopt technology, we also need to let them know that as you're adopting this technology, you have to also suit it to your needs to help you to teach much more better, because at the
Better.
end of the day, that is what also matters at the end of the day. So I think that's it. I don't want to, drop too much time. So I'm trying to be
Wisdom.
pertinent one way or the other. So thank you very much, Winsley.
All right, sir.
Can
Thank you very much. Also,
I make
so
some
Mr.
contribution to that?
Tajuddin,
Yeah, I
I
think
think
Mr.
in
Taji wants to
education.
say something.
I want to say something concerning what
Oh, please.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Akin.
Please go ahead, sir.
So
Thank
I love what you said. We in our statement we only mention educators, educators, educators. Even
Yeah.
parents, they have a
Mm,
role. They have a role to play.
play.
So
Yes.
the government also have a role to play. Now,
Mm,
nobody should see this technology as way of distraction. No, no, nobody should see it as a way of distraction. We should all fight together. We should all do it together. We should all come together to make sure that we make use, we practice what is currently happening. Yeah, that is what other countries are doing. Yeah, technology has been in existence before COVID-19. I could remember it was after COVID-19 that everybody knew that, oh, technology is good, technology is good. Technology has been in existence. It's only that we are Nigeria, particularly, to change is our problem. To switch from one method to another is our problem. So I just want to say that parents should not see this as a distraction. Teachers should try as much as possible to key in and make sure we make use of technology to impact knowledge to our students. Thank you.
All
Yeah.
right, thank you very much. So from Mr. Tajuddin's point, is trying to say that sometimes the fear to adopt it, like resistance to change, sometimes begin to make us view it as a distraction. Rather,
Yeah.
we are supposed to use it to enhance our teaching and
What we
learning.
do.
So thank you very much. All right, also, being an educator, we cannot eradicate this very important thing, teacher students engagement and interaction. So that cannot, it cannot even, we can't even take it
Take
out
that
of
out.
this, out of it. So, in what ways do you think technology can enhance teacher-student interaction and engagement? In what better ways do you think? This is to the both of you, but Mr. Tajuddin would have to go first because I want Mr. Tajuddin to give us what I call case studies. In what ways that you
Practical
think
examples.
technology can, yes, can enhance teacher-student interactions and engagement, sir?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very well.
Yes. There are many ways. There are many ways teacher can improve interactions when we talk about teacher-student interaction. But from my own perspective, I want to base it on percentage. Look, if you use traditional methods of teaching, you will discover that teacher interaction will be 100/0. What do I mean? It is the teacher that will be talking from the beginning to the end. He is only doing the evaluation. We ask the students, any question? And tell me, if everybody will say no question, they are telling you to go out. They are telling you to go out. That is, the percentage concerning the conventional teaching method. But when it comes to technology, let me tell you, the student engagement is more than the teacher engagement. And that is what we call student-centered activities or student-centered learning engagement, where students will be fully engaged on the concepts, try to think on their own, collaborate with one another, do a kind of discussion, and try to bring a kind of critical thinking. Instead of the student to be thinking, when you are using traditional method, the student might travel, miles, a long way. But when you engage them, let them feel you. Let them know that you are talking about hardware. You are talking about algebra. You are talking about cell. Let them feel it. Let them be involved. So if you make use of technology, the student engagement, I will say by percentage, will be 90/10. The 10 is for teacher. The teacher is there to guide the students, to correct the students' love, and bring a kind of formative assessment that will make students remember during the main examination or any international examination or national examination. So there is no way we can say that technology should not come in. We should deploy. We should ready to make use of technology. We should ready to upgrade ourselves as the educator. We should ready to try as much as possible to make those gadgets to improve our learners' performance, to engage the students, and to make sure that the HEP of a state improve globally. So that is what I have for now.
Those are very great, ideas, and I don't know why I feel like I'm learning a lot from this session too. Thank you very much for sharing those insights.
Do you still want me to move ahead, Queen?
So before Mr. Akinde will take that same question from his own perspective, because I know he would have a bit of another angle. So we'll quickly go on a very short break. And also to our viewers, we are beginning to see your questions coming in. Please keep them coming in, and also share with us your ideas, engage with us. We would love to hear from you and also hear your views. So we will be back very soon. Welcome back to the session. We are still here discussing exploring innovations in technologies to foster positive learning outcomes in schools. Yes, so to our viewers once more, we have two amazing facilitators in the building who are ready to take on whatever they are ready to teach us, they are ready to engage with us. Also, we would love to engage with you, we would love to hear from you. So please engage with us in the comment section as we would love to listen and we also love to learn from you. So to Mr. Isiak from where we left off. Hello, Mr. Isiak. We can't see you, sir. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm sorry about that.
All right, all right. So, still on the question, in what ways do you think technology can help enhance teacher and student interaction? Just briefly, sir. What ways
Yeah,
you think technology can foster the engagement between students and teachers?
teacher. In diverse ways, like Mr. Tajuddin said, it's in diverse way. One thing I usually like to first start with is depending on what I'm teaching, depending on the method, the topic I'm teaching, that depends on the kind of technology I want to adopt. That also depends on the kind of teaching methodology I also want to adopt. A lot of time it depends when I'm teaching, for example, because some of my experience lately and from what we do here at EduTimes where I work is that we've also provided a platform for teachers to also help engage their students. For example, as a teacher, I can share my lesson note ahead. You know, I don't know, for me, because I've once been in the classroom and I've seen the fact that trying to get my students to write lesson notes even takes the whole time where I even want to focus
Yeah.
on teaching and learning. At first, I have to first get them to write and then come back to come and explain, or I even want them to even read ahead. It is only when I'm there that they have to do the reading, or it is only when I'm in their classroom that teaching and learning really happens. But with technology, a whole lot of that is happening. Teaching and learning can also take place anywhere. The student can learn at their own convenient time. For example, there are online learning platforms where teachers can share their lesson notes, right? Students at their own convenient time can go through those notes. And do you know that even assessment is also one of the ways students learn the most when they are able to keep assessing, because there are a whole lot of learning theories that also back that up. When students learn with assessment, they learn more.
Ah,
You know,
so we are going there. Don't don't
Okay,
don't
so
dive back into that.
so
Yeah.
there are a whole lot of assessment questions that technology platform like even EduTimes, for example, can also help that students can take assessment questions. It helps them to get practice with whatever the teachers are teaching them. So it is important that there is no way. It is very important that technology is helping to bridging that gap to ensure that my students are learning. And even more importantly, I feel that a lot of teachers have not started exploring the concept yet. Where how do I want to know what I'm teaching my student, that my students are really learning? I come to class today, I teach. I come to class again, I teach. How do I even know? How am I even sure that the students are really learning what they are supposed to learn? Technology platform allows me to do all of that. We have something we used to call learning analytics. Those are the kind of things that technology provides. As a teacher, I do my teaching. Technology tools allow me to assess whether my students are really learning or not. How do I even assess if what I'm teaching my students is retaining, how they are retaining that knowledge and using it?
Knowledge
Tools like
retention.
tools like learning analytics help teachers to really keep track of all of those analytics. And I know whether I need to improve more on the way I teach or I need to do this more on the way I teach. So there are a whole lot of platform, a whole lot of tools. Again, we just have to start with the one that adapts for me, the one that suits my need. It's very important. The way we are hammering on teachers need to adopt technology to teach. You need to do this to this. You also need to critically assess where you teach, the context at which you teach. I know
Your
there are a lot of
audience.
questions around exactly we're in the rural area. How do we use technology? A whole diverse way you can make use of technology, depending on what suits your particular concept. Mr. Tajuddin was saying something around the fact that I make the student to do this particular thing themselves. We have something that I don't know if I'm sure Quincy also know it. We used to call it FET, simulation based learning.
Yeah.
Did you get? So that one allows my student to learn more. Instead, when I know I can't teach them these things in a way they will understand, but I know with simulated based learning content, when I just need to bring the tool to the classroom or have the students to just access it, they will be able to learn it much more better with the way I'm even going to teach them. So even when I'm in the class, we'll just be engaging. They will understand. The first time I ever came across with simulation-based learning, it wowed me. I remember when I was in school, when my teacher used to teach us this energy. They used to say there are different forms of energy. I don't understand what it is. Yeah, it just to understand it.
Mm.
That's the simulation based. I was able to analyze what how energy moves.
Your sound, sir. Your sound.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
I was saying that I was able to practicalize how energy move from one form to another, and that is
Another.
technology in place. That's because it's helping me to learn much more better. So those are various means. So it just happened that as teachers, we need to know that technology is really there, is here to stay, and it has a great
Mm.
potential in ensuring that it's helping to improve what we do and also helping to improve
Mm.
teaching and learning. So it's now left for me to say, okay, what subject do I want to teach? What is my area like? What
Mm.
are my student level at? So that will now determine the kind of methodology that I want to adopt. So the way that we are shouting technology, it doesn't mean that as a teacher I will adopt the same method to be teaching my student every
Mm.
time because I'm using
Mm.
technology. So technology
Mm.
allows me to adopt different methods, different styles, depending on how I want to teach them.
Yes.
So it's
Mm.
just that it takes time, like Mr. Tajuna has also said. First is to also have that open-mindedness to say,
Mm.
okay, we want to see how all of these things can influence what we do, and we'll start adopting it one way or the other. And before you know, things are really moving very, very fast for you, either for you as a teacher or even for your learners that you also teach appropriately.
Mm.
Thank you.
I think I can relate with what you're saying, Mr. Kinde, because I think I'm a living proof. If back then when I was young, my dad was trying to help me out being a science student, and he bought all these recorded classes disc. So playing it for me. That was his own way of thinking. He's helping me technological wise. And after all, that man really tried. But however, I'll be very honest with you. If I had this simulation based learning right now, probably I'll be a medical doctor because I just can't figure out how I need to think of how HCL does this with my brain when we can really explore the practical lab physically because of resources. You cannot just be wasting acid and base anyhow. There has to be resources, and the school administrator would have to tell you, no, 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 you can't just do that. And imagine if I had the privilege of knowing simulations then that I can practically do all of that. Simulation is like you are, how do I say it?
Demonstrating it,
The
like
real life
demonstrating, yeah, the real life, yeah.
abstract of the real life scenario. So I could have been something probably maybe my dad wanted though. But but the reality is we could actually do better. And one funny thing about it is I discovered that usually we used to think technology is very expensive. We used to think technology is very expensive until I started
Yeah.
coming across things towards the course of my research. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We I still have one very critical thing that I feel affects us as a learner. So using myself as an example, you are my educators. And also to my viewers, drop that thing you think we need to touch also. We are here for you. Now, being my kind of learning pace back then, in a classroom, all learners cannot learn at the same pace. We have some learners that before you say this thing, they've picked. We have
Yeah.
some learners that you want to get a positive learning outcome. You have to relate that scenario with what they know. That's I think constructivism theory. We have
Yes.
some learners that you have to use maybe behavioral theory for them. We have some learners that they can only relate when and we have some learners that the time that they want to learn differs.
Yeah.
Some learners, if they read in the morning, they are fine. Some learners like to read ahead of class.
Yeah.
Some learners is when you've taught them in the class, they can pick that book, that textbook, and they can relate. Well, for some people like me, if you are teaching me in the normal afternoon, we are missing it. It has to be yes. Now that is the part of personalized learning, where
Yes.
some learners need to learn. When Mr. Tajini was talking about student centered, that we have to shift from teacher centered to student centered. And when we talk about student centered, we have to talk about the pace at which they learn. So that is leading me to my next question. Mr. Tajuddin, sir, How do you think technology supports personalized learning experiences? For a learner like myself, that let me tell you my kind of learner. If you want me to learn, I have to, is either you relate it with a previous knowledge I have, and probably you give me the content ahead. I can read ahead of the class. Then you will see the best students in me. Now,
Yeah.
going by the normal traditional approach, it is when the teacher brings the notebook, everybody learns. How do you think technology can support personalized learning experience for students with varying needs? In a class of 40, everybody has their different needs. There are some learners that they um they have to go through simulations. So how do you think simulation I said how do you think technology can support personalized learning experience for students with various needs?
Thank you.
Mm.
First and foremost, what is personalized learning?
All right.
Before we now go to how technology can improve personalized learning, is that what is that what you asked me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, personalized learning is an educational approach that aims to customize learning for each student's strengths,
Mm.
their needs, their skills, and the interests. So, in personalized learning, each student gets a learning plan. Are you getting me now?
Mm.
That's based on what they know and
Mm.
how they learn best.
Mm.
Personalized learning doesn't replace, any intervention programs. No, it has. It is focused on the learners himself, how
Mm.
the learners learn, learn conveniently, how the learners assimilate, how learners take instruction in which they learn on their own. The instructional
Mm.
approach are, optimized for the needs of each learner from the
Mm.
word personalized learning. You see, learning is beyond four corners of the classroom. We must agree with that.
Yeah.
And when it comes to personalized learning, students can continue learning after school hours. They can learn in the midnight on their own with the use of technology. If you are a teacher and you've created a content maybe on YouTube and you want your students to go there and learn, you can give your link to your students. So when you get home, make sure you practice this.
Mm.
And each student will be engaged. They will engage themselves personally with the link.
Mm.
They will learn, they will assimilate, and they will jot somewhere. Maybe at the end of the day, when you get back to school, you can ask questions from the teacher. So,
Mm.
as Riley said, learning is beyond four corners of the classroom. And to
Mm.
achieve personalized learning, technology has to support. That has to come, to improve the personalized learning of each learners.
Mm.
Because when you talk about personal learning, you cannot use conventional teaching methods, no, to support personal learning, unless you give an assignment, go and do it and tell me it is the other one that will do it for the students.
Mm.
Uh-huh. But when you support with technology, sure, the students will have the ability to learn on our own, on his own, to assimilate, to get himself or herself familiarized with the content whenever, maybe in the midnight or anywhere, or even after school hours. So technology, we have to deploy technology to achieve what we call personalized learning.
Mm. All right.
And we
Mr.
should
Akinde.
agree,
All right.
learning is continuous process. So
Yes.
no matter the condition, learning must not
Mm.
stop. So to
Yes, it must
continue
be
learning,
structured.
we deploy technology gadgets.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. Akinen, for coming back, because this question is for you directly, sir. Being someone being someone who loves measuring, getting data, you're used to you love as a product manager, you love using tools. So this is now going directly to you, sir. What tools or strategies can help track and measure individual students' progress effectively?
Yeah. Well, that's
And
a
that's
very big question.
yes.
That's a very big question. A lot of times, for me, maybe because of some of my experiences I've seen. I remember when I was sitting in the classroom, like Mr. Tajuddin also say, trying to see, look at all the various learners that I have in my class, and I know what method do I need to teach that will suit this particular needs. And I think then I have like 40 something learners in my class, so I had to just segment them. I know that these people they pick quick, so I focus less. And I know those ones that I need to put my focus more on, I put focus on them. So I'm able to just segment the various learners I have. And I think that's important for what educators also need to do. So if I'm really interested in ensuring that my students are learning what I want to teach them, it is first important that I understand the various categories of learners that I have in my class. So that helps to guide
Yeah.
whatever methodology that I'm going to introduce or whatever, the way I'm going to teach them. So I think that that's first. Then when I teach, everybody does well. How do I even know that this particular topic I'm teaching, the students are doing well there? It was always very
Yeah.
difficult because for me, I have to start keeping track of what's the student score in assessment for today, what's the student score in assessment for tomorrow. I remember there was a time I was keeping track of their scores one after the other in my notepad then because I was very important. I was very very particular about it. I was keeping track, and I noticed that when I towards the end of the term, when I check a particular child score, the child was in when we first started. The child was not really doing well. At towards the end of the time, because I was able to adopt the strategy, I noticed that the child was really improving. Then that was when I know that that particular method that I introduced really worked, and I wasn't going to intensify more on such process. So this is also to say that as an educator, when I'm using a particular method, I'm not just using it, I'm also keeping track of changes that are happening in that process. So I'm
Happening.
able to measure and say, okay, this particular methodology that I introduced today, it worked or it did not work. Does it change? Because at the end of it all, why am I adopting technology? Or why am I changing my strategy? Is for me to ensure that what I'm teaching the student, they understand much more better. So when I introduce
Yes.
anything, I measure it, I keep, although it is always very difficult manually, it requires a whole lot of time, and that is where technology comes in. Is helping to make all of these things very easier. If you are using technology, like if, for example, if you are using a school learning management solution, for example, all of those things will be very, very minimal because it keeps track of their scores, it keeps track of their assessment. You can also see the learning analytics around what is the student progression from subject one, subject two, subject three, and all of that. So
Yes.
if you are doing it manually, it might be very stressful, but believe me, it is always very important. And for me, I used to get that joy personally because at the end of the day, I know that, wow, this student, when we first started, the score was 5, 10, but now the score is now 15, 20. That I derive joy seeing all of those things for me. And I think for any educator out there, that those are some of the key things that should, inspire us to want to do more on daily basis. But with tools like technology these days, I don't necessarily have to be doing it manually because any technology platform that provide learning analytics makes it easier for me to see student progression from one particular subject to
Yes.
another. And I think those are some of the huge changes that we're bringing into Ogun State education. I know we are working over the past couple of 6 months now. We've worked with over 200 teachers in Ogun State, right? And we've been working on this lesson content and also learning analytics that will be available for teachers, across Ogun State public schools. So I don't know. I'm just super excited that when that feature is released, it can help to reduce teachers the bulk of workload that we usually used to do
The
as a teacher
workload.
on daily basis because now I can get access to lesson content directly from my platform on OG Sarah. Or I can also even see learning analytics. That's as a teacher, if I decide I want to go full into technology, I can see learning analytics and keep track of how well my students are doing. And that can help to inform me as a teacher and say, okay, I can do more in this strategy, I can do more in this strategy. So I know exactly who students, what students are learning and if they are exactly or really learning what we are teaching them in class. So adopting technology for educators helps us to measure how well our students are doing so that we can know how best to also teach them. Because like I said again, at the end of the day, what matters in all of these things that we do on day-to-day basis as an educator is that the students that we are learning, the students that we are going to school every day for, are they really learning what we are teaching them? So technology helps us to measure all of those things easily. Without technology, the process will still be there, but it will be very, very tedious. And teachers we already have too much workload. I want to write notes, I want to teach a class of about 50, 40. That how do I do all of these things within that same 45 minutes? With all of those things that are there, technology is coming as an enabler to enable us, to help us to, do what we are doing much more better and also help us improve on what we do on daily basis. So I think
I think
for what I want to use to wrap it up is that yes, as educators, let us have that open-mindedness and say, okay, we will try to explore all of these technologies, we'll try to explore all of these tools and see whatever where it leads us to. Yeah, thank you.
So I think the
Can
word
I
you
add?
keep on
Can
using
I add to
as
what Mr. Isaac have said?
yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Just briefly, sir, in a minute, sir. Our time is fast
All right.
spent.
So, measuring the learning outcomes of learners during teaching. We can also do it after teaching, maybe taking them the CA and blah blah, all other measures of assessment. So, like what I use under the PSI PMI's method of teaching is also a technological gadget that Ogun State has introduced for teachers to make use of. I use what we call plickers. I don't know, maybe you have seen it before. The something like a card that look like Arabic. Many people do call me that. Are you teaching Arabic? What is the meaning of this card? This the plickers card. So I made them to realize that this is not Arabic. It is plickers that teacher can use to measure the level of understanding of students in a particular topic during
Topic.
teaching. Make use of plickers to measure the level of understanding of students. So I just want to add this because
That's
teacher
great.
do ask me that what are you making use this for? Are you teaching Arabic? Some said this is Chinese. This is Chinese. So
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 maybe
this
you will
this
still teach us this cards later. So,
oh,
but
Definitely.
I would also want you to answer. One of our viewers asked the question, and we have just
okay.
few minutes to go. But
All right.
I would want you to answer, Mr. Tajuddin, from a
All right.
teacher to a teacher. So the question is on the screen. It says, in rural areas where the network is fluctuating, how can it be possible for an educator who wants to inculcate the use of technology to the learners?
Yes. Well, that is many of my seminar that I did to teachers for them to making use of technology to teach in the classroom and to do all other things in the school. And this is most of the questions that our teachers, do ask me. That in our school there's no network. There's no network. In my school too, Ishara Secondary School, let me tell you, there is, let me say, a partial network, but then we continue using the technology. Now, let me answer Mrs. Balikis Temidayo for this question. You can start, you just prepare your contents at home. When you get to school, you can start using computer. Maybe you can start using PowerPoint presentation to teach your students. And if you want to make use of PowerPoint, it doesn't support network. So you do whatever you want to do at home. Then maybe because of light, do it at home. Then reserve your laptop. Then take it to the class and engage the students. You have to change this method gradually. It's a gradual process. You cannot just change immediately. Technology, then you want to change. No. You do it gradual.
Yeah.
It's a gradual process. Gradual process. So if yes, we want better results and we want our students to be seriously engaged, because to me, conventional teaching method is no more effective, and that is the fact. It's no more effective unless we want to deceive ourselves. So this teacher can make use of a PowerPoint to engage the students. I'm done.
All right, sir. All right, sir. So I lost you for a while. And Mrs.
Yeah.
Balikis, I hope you listened to Mr. Tajuddin, from a teacher to a teacher who has experience, who is going through what you're going through also. So, Mr. Isiak, briefly, in just a minute,
Yeah.
what measures do you think? Because the whole thing is, as a teacher, if at the end of the day, the school administrators is not supporting and anything, you begin to get weary and everything. So, what measures do you think schools should put in place to support teachers?
That's a very big one, because for me, yeah, I used to feel that all of these things are not happening when teachers are not there. As educators, we have a very great role to play. Even aside from waiting for the school to do whatever they want to do, even me personally as an educator, I need to take that step. I need to take that small conscious step. Then when the school does theirs, fine. But we can't wait totally on what the school will have to do, despite the fact that the school also have a role to play in it. But me as a person, personally as an educator, I also have a role to play. One way or the other is helping to make me a better educator. Is helping to ensure that my students are learning much more better. So I think first is for all educators to know that, okay, it lies on us to first of all explore all of these things ourselves, right? And the school also, of course, one thing the school have to play, providing that enabling environment. I don't know, for some of my interactions with private school owners, one key thing I used to say is that, for your teachers, it is understandable when they are not tech savvy, or they are not, you have to, it has to be compulsory. I think it's something that should be compulsory, that teachers should prioritize professional development, because as a teacher, that's what keeps you going. When we prioritize professional development, when we prioritize professional development, now we know that, okay, I need to improve more in technology skills, the way I incorporate technology to what I teach. That is what will help me to grow. Knowledge is not, it's just there. When we prioritize it, and that's, if as a school we prioritize that in everything we do, we know that we must adopt technology. But we have to start taking these things one step at a time. And the school prioritize professional development training for the teachers, and the teachers will keep going. And even before technology these days, everybody has a smartphone, everybody has a mobile device, and that's where things are really changing. Because once I have my smart device and there is internet, I'm already technology inclined. It's just for me to now know how to be familiar with all of these things and to use them effectively. So first of all, teachers has a very great role to play. Personally, as a person, you need to be open to, wanting to learn. When the school itself, what I feel the school just need to prioritize is prioritizing professional development for its staff, and very importantly, providing that enabling environment to do all of these things. Mr. Tajuddin was answering a question the other time as to how we teachers in the rural areas. I have my phone, I have my computer. It depends on what I want to use to teach them. It depends on the way I want to teach them. Mention something like, okay, I can even use PowerPoint to teach them. I can bring my computer, use my phone. I can use videos to even teach the kids, depending on the way I want to, carry out, the way I want to teach them. So there's a whole lot of process. There's a various level at which we can explore, no matter how rural that place is, no matter how urban, whatever it is, there's always a way that we can adopt technology to incorporate or to facilitate whatever we are doing. He mentioned something around the Pickers card, for example, and various methods that is also adopting, so that it's just for us to, as educators, have that open-mindedness and say, okay, I want to try all of these things. I want to look at the one I want to try and see how it's going to help me personally as an educator, help my learners, and also help the school, at large. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Akindeni. I think Mr. Saka is also saying very clear explanation, but what of the online stuff in areas where network is fluctuating? To be honest,
Yeah.
sir, let's be very, very honest. I think you will agree with me that I'm a realist. The honest truth is, one peculiar situation we have in Nigeria is network. You cannot take away that fact. One way or the other, we are all battling network issues and everything. But if you let that define your career, that okay, this is the short pit, this is the shortcoming, and I can't overcome that and everything, you will just be stagnant in the part of your career wise. You will not move forward. So we just have to find a way around it. If this service provider is not, this is the practical solution. If this service provider is not servicing you, we're not giving you the service you want, you would have to switch to another. If just like that, we have to find okay what best and suit us. And I think one thing Isiak was saying that I have to emphasize also is we've talked about using technology. And yes, we've all admitted that we cannot eradicate the use of technology. But one key thing I want you to take home is you have to know your audience. And when I mean your audience, your learners, what technology is okay, what is the gap? What is the problem they are having? The problem, the various needs that the student needs. Then, okay, now this is the problem. Then, what technology can address that particular problem? You cannot have the problem of headache and be using drugs for stomach ache. The problem won't be solved. You just say, I have technology, I have technology. Just like some people will tell me, I have monitor, I have keyboard, so I have technology. Monitor and keyboard might not actually be able to solve that problem on ground. So please find out what is the gap, what is the problem, then how best can I harness technology to treat that particular problem. So one last question, then we will wrap it up. Now, overall,
This is the last part.
we've seen that our national examinations, like you said the other time, they've begun to they are beginning to introduce technology into it that no learners can, if that means if you're not a digital literate currently in this current world we are in, either as a learner, either as a parent, because as a parent you want to guide your learner, or either as a teacher. And specifically I'm on learners this time around. As a learner, if you are not digital literate now, that means you might have issues with the coming WAHEC coming up and everything. So what advice would you give to everybody, every stakeholder in the education sphere, especially as today is the International Day of Education? What key advice are you going to give to them currently with the way this emerging trend is tilting towards this area, sir? Mr. Tajuddin, just a minute, sir.
Oh, thank you. For this type of question you're asking me, I will say it is recommendations. So I will recommend that government, parents should endeavor to deploy technology gadgets to run our education system for better results. Government must create a conducive environment that we accommodate technology gadgets, providing facilities, buildings, and the electricity to make sure that technology it has stayed already. No going back, because we have been seeing the results of technology.
All right. Thank you.
Years back, we said that JAM cannot use CBT for exams. It's cannot possible. No, they have been using computer now for the past 10 years or 7 years. So government, parents must endeavor to make sure that we cooperate with one another to make sure that education system, we use technology for better results. Government and parents also should provide conducive environment in all our schools. Then school owners, which is the owner of the school, should collaborate with technology investors, those innovators, those that are into technology, to set up their schools with technological facilities that will help the children. So all schools should have websites where learning can take place, where admission can take place, where registration can take place, where students can have access to examination. So that is my brief recommendation to parents, government, and everybody.
Thank you very much, sir. Isia, please, your last question. Akinde, are you there, sir? Hello, Akinde.
Yes, I am, but I have to
All
quickly
right.
wrap up
So,
because I want to
all
get on
right.
the
So
road.
the last question for you, sir. What emerging trends in technology do you foresee is going to shape the future of digital education, sir?
Well, that's a very big one. Things are changing, you know.
Just briefly.
Before we used to say we are in the fourth industrial revolution. Now the fifth industrial revolution is here. AI is here and there, here and there. You know, so there's so much innovations, there's so much technological innovations coming up. And that's where for me I feel that we need to start here in Nigeria, here in Africa, we need to start from where we are. You know, those normal, simple tools, our mobile device, those normal, simple platforms, we need to even get familiar with them because AI is here, it's changing a whole lot of things already. So before even we get to AI era, which is already here, so all of those small innovations, technology innovations that are here, we need to start learning how to use them and also learning how to use them to improve on what we do on daily basis. Like all what we have been saying since morning is just for educators out there to have that open-mindedness and know that technology is here to stay, that whether we like it or not, we must adopt it one way or the other. So it's for us to now start learning how to adopt it and also know as we adopt all of this technology, it is now on the way we are now adopting it to suit what we are doing. You have to adopt it and know that this one suits your particular area or you suit the particular method that you want to use it to teach. So I think that that's it for me on a general level. Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
thank you very much. Thank you so much, Mr. Akinde, for making time out for us despite your busy schedule. And also thank you, Mr. Tajuddin Odufeso, for giving us and enlightening us, giving us insights and educating us. So we are so grateful for sharing your wealth of knowledge with us. And also to our educators out there, our viewers out there, thank you so much for always tuning in. And we are seizing this opportunity to tell you that digital education is back fully this year. And yes, it is not just a normal conference. We are coming in a new dimension and it is going to be more impactful. So watch out for the next one. Kindly like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, click the notification bell so you get notified when we drop informative and educative content. And also, we give you the latest trend in EdTech that you need to be acquainted with, you need to be aware of, and you get to know what is the latest update happening currently. And also follow us on all of our social media platforms. There is a lot going on that you do not want to miss. Follow us on our LinkedIn, our Instagram, our Twitter, our Facebook accounts. We have so many engagements going on. So many. We have the brain teasers, so many engagements, and also you can win prizes also while you follow us. So do not forget once more to like and share and subscribe. So thank you so much for joining in once again. My name is Quincy Ademola, and I'm the Digital Education Assistant Manager of Editans. Till I come your way next time, please do not stop learning, do not stop relearning, do not stop unlearning, and do not stop getting higher and aiming for the best in your education career. We are here for you always. You can reach us on all of our social media platforms. If you have so many, you have things to discuss with us, we will be there with you. So thank you so much. Till I come your way next time. You take care of yourself. Bye.
Bye bye.
My name is Dr. Ademola Adenobi. I'm the founder and CEO of Editimes. Editimes is a one-stop platform for digitizing education processes across the school sectors, public K-12, private K-12 schools, and the tertiary institutions. We have developed Editimes Basic to deal with our private school operators, helping them to digitize their schools and manage their school most effectively and efficiently. For administrators to gain insight into the finances of their schools, their enrollment, the learning performance of their learners, the activities of teachers in the classrooms, and also other critical insight that can help the school administrators to effectively and efficiently manage their schools. And for governments desiring to also coordinate the activities of all the public basic schools, we have also developed the Editans Essential as a tool for digitizing these schools, so that data collection could be easier for them to be able to do policy decisions, formulation, planning, monitoring, and evaluation. For tertiary education institutions, we offer the Edutans Pro as a school management system for digitizing the administrative and academic processes in our schools, from the admission to registration to fees collections up to results and graduations. In the last 3 years, we have sustained our commitment in opening access and deepening digital transformations in schools. Offering Edutans as a digital platform with reimagined experience for school administrators, teachers, learners, parents, and government. We're trusted by hundreds of private schools and tens of tertiary education institutions across universities, polytechnics, colleges, and monotechnics. Working with the Ogun State government, our Edutans Essential is driving digital transformation in the education sector, powering over 2,000 basic schools and connecting over 1.5 million learners and 30,000 teachers. My team and I are super excited to be part of this EdTech Festival organized by CC.